In this video, I'm going to share two strategies with you that you can use Airbnb to make piles of cash. The first strategy is the one that we use, and that's the hard road, the long road, the one that's probably more painful. And then the second strategy that we're going to talk about is Airbnb arbitrage. And anybody can do this, and it's not hard at all, and it's way, way less cash out of pocket. So let's get into it. Let's talk about how we got into the Airbnb business almost by accident. When I first came to the island of Puerto Rico, I like to attend auctions. So I was at an auction of bank-owned properties, and I saw a building in a picture in a flyer. I hadn't actually been to the property. I don't advise this, guys. I was bidding on the property at the time, and I think I won that auction it said Santurce, Puerto Rico, and it looked like it was a pretty cool old building. I wasn't sure what I was buying, but I knew that it was some kind of office condo, and I paid $22,000 for it. And as I got up to go sign the contract at this auction, I think they were still ringing the bell and everything. Somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Robert, there's another one that's going for sale next." And so I turned around and I bid on that one, and I ended up buying two condos. And these were like one of the first purchases that we did on the island. I would think this was probably definitely within the first 10 things that we bought on the island of Puerto Rico. For a while there, we didn't know what to do with them because they were abandoned office. There was law books and dust, and it was like somebody showed up for work one day and then never came back in both of these offices. We didn't know what to do with it. And so we just sat on it for a little while we figured that shit out. We were all busy off doing other stuff. Eventually, we landed on an idea that we were going to renovate these things from distressed, nasty ass offices and bring them up to life and make them look like they look here. My wife designed them. It's got this kind of boho chic look with the exposed rebar beams and shit. It's pretty damn cool. And we landed on the Airbnb. We had never really done Airbnb investing before. We really fell into it. We became Airbnb investors by really just good luck and the idea of pivoting. Hey guys, on this channel as real estate investors, we're value add real estate investors. And so we often tell you what we do, how we do it, and we talk about why. Well, in this case, we didn't know what we were going to do with these things. And so we had these two that we originally bought when we first came to the island. Then we bought a couple more. And so we have four now that are on Airbnb, and we've been crushing it for the last several years. And now we're buying a couple more. So in this particular building, we own almost all of the units, and we've turned them from abandoned, distressed offices and into these really kind of cool posh apartments to put on Airbnb. The cash flow is insane. You guys could do this. This is certainly the hard way, the long way, and it takes the most capital. We've got about $150,000 in each one of these apartments after acquisition and renovations, and we keep trying to make them better and better. We've done really well on the nightly rental scene though. So we average about $5,000 a month on this year round. It gets a little bit lower than that in the low season, and it does better than that in the high season. But cash on cash return on this, about $60,000 a year on a $150,000 investment, which you can do the math on that. That's pretty damn good. We think these apartments now are probably worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $300,000 a piece. And this is one way that you could invest, buy this distressed, and there is a lot of distressed and abandoned office buildings on the island of Puerto Rico. You can find standalone buildings, or you can do what we did and buy the individual office condos like we did in this building. We've done this play in a couple of other spots across the island as well, and we love it. We love turning offices because when you're buying abandoned office, you get to buy them way down here. Like the office place is played out. It doesn't have a whole bunch of value. So when you're buying that stuff, you get to buy it really cheap. And then if you convert it into something that somebody wants to use, i.e. housing, whether you're going to keep it as a long-term rental or you're going to sell it off for someone to live in, or you're going to put it on Airbnb, that's great. You're bringing it up to its highest and best use, and we love to do that. When you watch our channel, we talk about what's the highest and best use all the time. So just for that alone, give this video a like. What else can I say about these apartments? Well, what we've found is that the better you renovate something when you're going to put it on the nightly rental, then the better it actually rents. So in both strategies that I'm going to give you today, I want to encourage you to do the very best renovation that you can because it helps you to stand out. And standing out is key to the nightly rental game. If you just do the plain vanilla box and you put it out there on Airbnb or you put it out there on any of the booking sites, if you look like everything else, if you're kind of just crap, you're not going to get the people to come and stay. But if you can separate yourself yourself by doing a better renovation, you're going to get a higher nightly rate, you're going to get a higher occupancy rate, and you're going to make more money. So you got to invest a little bit more up front, but it's well worth it. That's something that we learned, guys. Again, we were not in this space before we came to the island of Puerto Rico, or at least we had very little experience with it before we came here. And now what we've done is every time we're renovating something for the hospitality play, we try to do it better than the last one. So we think these came out beautiful. The next couple that we're buying right now that we just actually closed on that we're going to renovate them even nicer. So we're just going to keep leveling up each time we do it. And I encourage you guys to do that as well. The second strategy is something that I just learned about a couple of weeks ago while I was teaching a masterclass with JC Morales inside of our Apex community. And this strategy, it's a low barrier to entry. Anybody can do this. You don't have to have a ton of cash. In fact, you don't need very much cash at all. It's way easier to get into the game this way than doing it the hard way that I like to do it. And so I've got you on pins and needles. What's the strategy, Robbie Krager, the flip-flop flipper? Tell us, please tell us. I'll only tell you if you give me a like. Otherwise, that's it. I'm done.
Like, comment,
smash the subscribe.
All right, you gave me a like. Cool. Airbnb arbitrage, guys, that's what we're talking about here. If you are willing to put the work and the effort in, you can get into real estate investing using Airbnb arbitrage. And what is Airbnb arbitrage? That means that you're going to rent from a person who owns a condominium like this, like the one that you're seeing here in the video, and you're going to then arbitrage it. You're going to rent it for a price down here, and you're going to then rent it nightly on Airbnb or the other nightly sites at a price that's up here. And you get to pay the rent to the landlord and keep the spread, keep the difference. So, for instance, all right, so how are you going to calculate this formula for Airbnb arbitrage? How much can you pay for the rent versus what do you need to rent the property for nightly and make that spread? And how do you figure out what the nightly rents are going to be or the nightly rates are going to be? So it's a couple of different formulas. I'm going to go through them really quickly for you. It's really easy, guys. Again, this is just regular real estate investing 101. Third grade math ought to do it for you. What you want to figure out is, first, how much will the property that you want to rent for nightly on Airbnb and the other nightly rental sites. So you can find that amount out by going into Airbnb itself and looking at other things that are in the area and figure out by doing a little bit of research, this isn't hard at all, what something is going to rent for. For instance, on our properties, if you were to look at the surrounding area and the properties that I'm showing you here, we get about $250 a night. So if you know that the apartment that you're going to rent will rent nightly for $250 a night, you can multiply that times 7. That's 1 week worth of nightly rental. That will tell you what you can rent the property for from the landlord. If you can get it at that or less, you know you're getting a great deal. And sometimes you can even fudge it a little bit and you can go up to 7, 8, 9, even 10 days. So you could pay a little bit more, pay a premium to the landlord, and you're still going to make the spread. I think it's safe to do these calculations where if you're 7 to 10 days, that's what your max rent is. And then you're going to want to make sure that you're seeing an occupancy of like 66%. And what is that? That's 20 nights a month. If you can meet that criteria, you know you're going to make some money. So on the island of Puerto Rico, the average is about 70% occupancy. So we want to be less than that. We call it 66%, and it just works out really well. So 20 days a month divided by 30, that's 66%. So that's easy math, guys. Again, third grade math is all you really need to be a real estate investor. In this case, it works really, really well. If you can do 7 to 10 days, that's what you're going to pay. And then if you can rent it for 20 nights, that's what you're going to receive. And then you can take what you receive, subtract out what you pay. The spread is what you earn. That's what you make. You can even go further and figure out your return on investment, but your return on investment is going to be close to a ton because you don't have a big investment. And guys, let me tell you, I don't claim to be an expert in this field of Airbnb. This is just one way that we invest. One of the things that I really like about real estate investing is that there's a cajillion different ways that you can be profitable and make a great living and have the great life being a real estate investor. JC Morales just hit it out of the park a couple of weeks ago when we were teaching this masterclass over on Apex. And if you want to join the community, the link's in the description. And don't take my word for it. Go and watch it. It's in the library. It is powerful. He was dropping dimes the entire way in. In fact, before we started the masterclass, the one thing that I said to him was, hey, give everybody takeaways so that they can go and start earning the big bucks right away from the next night. And he did it, guys. He really did it. I think it's probably our most powerful masterclass. And again, I'm telling you some things that we do and telling you how we do them. But if you really want to learn about this Airbnb arbitrage and learn about Airbnb investing altogether, you want to join Apex and go and check out the masterclass JC Morales and I put on, because he really brings it. All right, guys. Well, I just served it up on a platter for you. That's 2 ways that you can use Airbnb to make a whole bunch of money. Do it the hard way, do it my way, get the long-term capital gains, get the long-term wealth, or do it the easy way. Start out, get your foot in the door, become a real estate investor, and you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money. Guys, we want to give you as many different ways that you can be successful in real estate as we possibly can. That's why we put out all of these videos. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, my God, what are you waiting for? We're just giving it away for you guys. Subscribe to the channel, join us on Apex, or join us in the free school community. It's called the Flip Flop Flipper Real Estate. All of these links are in the description. Thanks for watching, and God bless.